We are going to be talking about teamwork, and as the famous saying goes, teamwork makes the dream work. So for the next several months, twice a month, we'll be coming together as a team. We'll have the opportunity to collaborate to help improve the care of the clients we work with, have the opportunity to share stories, share situations, and get some valuable feedback and input from others. What I'd like to talk about is the idea of teams and how interprofessional teams have changed and progressed over the years. We'll also look at networking and how to gain the most from a networking experience, specifically through collaboration. So Katzenbach and Smith in 1993 had set forth a model of 5 contrasting types of teams. One team was a working group, and this was where members held some shared information and undertook some team activities. But there was no joint responsibility, no clear definition of team roles. Pseudo teams were members labeled as a team, but in reality have little shared responsibility or coordination of teamwork. Potential teams, these are teams where members are beginning to work in a collaborative manner, but have few of the factors needed for effective teamwork, such as sharing of common group goals. Real teams, these are teams where members share common goals and share some accountability. High performance teams, these are the teams that members all hold a clear understanding of their roles. They all share common team goals. They encourage team members' personal development. One of the problems with this model is that it blurred the team performance from the team type. So terms like potential, real, high performance describe the function of the team rather than actually a type of teamwork. So Rivas and colleagues developed a new approach to teamwork that would take into account 6 elements to affect collaboration. One of those elements is shared team identity. This is where a team has many defining characteristics and qualities. So it could have differing backgrounds, it could have differing professions, it could have all kinds of different educations, different models of practice, and where those are all brought together and they're all accepted as part of the team identity. Another factor is clear roles and goals. So this is where each team member has a clearly defined responsibility to the team, and that each of those roles helps the team work toward their common goal. There's also some accountability. We'll talk about shared responsibility in a little bit, but there is some accountability in terms of the roles and the goals, with some understanding that if I am on a team and my role is clearly defined, I am aware of what my responsibilities are and what I would need to work on. Interdependence of team members is another factor, and this is where working together is both individually and collectively beneficial. So as a team member, as I participate in team interactions or team encounters, not only is the team benefiting from my engagement, but I am also benefiting from the engagement as well. So success of the team depends on the participation of all of the team members that are part of the team. Integration of work is bringing together each team member into one type of system and ensuring that each team member function together as a team. So this is the idea of the sum of the parts. So if I am working and fulfilling my roles and responsibilities, then I am benefiting the team, and hopefully my other teammates are doing the same thing. So that the sum comes together and the whole team is stronger as a result of that. Shared responsibility is that which each team member has a responsibility of the team and the goals of the team. So this gets back to the accountability aspect, that if I have the responsibility of the team, I know what I'm responsible for, I know what I need to be doing, and there's some accountability. There is someone to follow up and making sure that each of the team members is fulfilling those responsibilities. Team tasks are those things that the teams complete. They're the work. And so they look at team tasks in terms of predictability, urgency, and complexity. So predictability in the sense of when we have team tasks, do we know, can we anticipate what those team tasks are going to look like? urgency related to, is there a sense of accomplishing it quickly, or do we have some time to work before we need to complete it? And then complexity. So are they complicated? Are the tasks, are they often multi-layered? Are there lots of things to work through in terms of those tasks? And so those are things that we're going to talk about when we look at a different type of a model related to teamwork. We're going to look at these 6 factors and these 6 elements. So Reeves went further and looked at differing types of interprofessional work. So these are 4 areas that they identified: interprofessional teamwork, interprofessional collaboration, interprofessional coordination, and interprofessional networks. So looking at the first, interprofessional teamwork, this is where there is a shared team identity, there's clarity, interdependence, integration, shared responsibility. They had an unpredictable, urgent, and complex team tasks. So these might be a situation where the team tasks might be something that is of an emergency in nature. It may be very complicated. There might be lots of moving parts to it, and things to consider with regard to those team tasks. So those might be more of like an emergency room situation, a crisis team, for example, really not having any predictable tasks that they might be encountering. Interprofessional collaboration is a looser form of interprofessional work. Shared identity and integration of individuals were less important. There's a little more predictability and less urgent, complex team tasks. So there's a little bit more anticipation within interprofessional collaboration. The tasks aren't as urgent or aren't as time sensitive to be accomplished. But the team tasks remain complex. They remain maybe multi-layered in being able to work towards those. The shared identity and integration of individuals being less important in this situation is where maybe the team has differing professions that are working together as part of the team, but it's not as important that they have a single identity in this type of team. So the integration of the individuals as part of the team aren't as important. So that's something to consider within this example. Interprofessional coordination is where integration and interdependence are viewed as less important. They're more predictable, less urgent, less complex. So this is very similar to interprofessional collaboration in that there aren't as many, it may be a necessity to integrate or have interdependence in the team, but there is a more predictable nature. There's not the team tasks aren't as time sensitive, and they're a little bit simpler in terms of working through or developing a plan. Interprofessional networks. This is where a shared team identity, clarity of roles and goals, interdependence, integration, and shared responsibility are less essential. They're predictable, non-complex, non-urgent team tasks. So as a result, networks can be virtual in nature, and they can occur via online or audio conferencing. This is very similar to what we're doing in the sense of that we are going to have the opportunity to share examples, share situations, share things that maybe we're struggling with within our practice, and being able to get some feedback. And so it's not as important that we have clearly defined roles or that we have a single shared team identity with regard to what we're going to be doing, but it is an incredibly valuable resource to have. For the longest time, teamwork was really the dominant concept that was examined as far as teamwork in interprofessional work, but often overlooked was what could be accomplished through networking. Improvements with communication is an important concept that can be accomplished through networking. In a networking environment, one can expand their knowledge, learn new concepts, see another's point of view. There's many different examples. This also provides additional opportunities within coordinated specialty care programs, much like everyone here is a part of. The information found through networking can then be dispersed to other team members that would not always have access to the information. So this might be a situation where if I'm participating in our Project ECHO video conference here, there might be something that I hear that I would want to then take to the case manager on my team or the clinician on my team based on some information that I hear. And so it might not just benefit me, but it might also benefit other members of the team as well. So when we think about interprofessional communication, the important thing is to recognize how communication is accomplished. So through communication, an atmosphere of understanding and support can be developed. Within interprofessional networks, we might not see a situation the same way or completely agree with another's viewpoint. But when it communicated properly, understanding another viewpoints in a particular topic is possible. We can understand and grasp what someone else is sharing, even though we might not completely agree with what they are saying. We also want to pay attention to all forms of communication, so recognizing nonverbals, for example. We also want to participate active listening. So even though we might not be talking, we want to make sure that we're listening to what the other participants might be sharing. Through our work, we all have experiences that can prove to be helpful to others. By sharing similar experiences, information may be shared that isn't always evident in actual encounters. So as an individual is providing direct service, for example, they might not pay attention to a particular task that could be done or a next step that could be done, that sometimes by sharing that with someone else, they might be able to point out those next steps or those examples or those situations that we might have missed. So there's always that opportunity, especially through what we're doing in this networking experience, to be able to have those opportunities. So one of the biggest problems with communication is that the idea that it's been accomplished when it really hasn't. So this cartoon here on this slide kind of highlights the importance of communication and making sure that we are effective in the communication that we are doing. So effective communication needs to be considered a guiding principle and an attribute. It is dependent on the ability of the teams to hear conflicting viewpoints and reach reasonable compromises. It is the foundation of their ability to work collaboratively. Any questions?